Welcome back to Knego Reported. And last time you saw me interview Peter Knego, but this time is really special. We're going to be doing a house tour of his house. As you know, he collects ocean liner things, like his chairs, tables, even the stairs. So you can check it out. Here we go! Previously on Knego Reporter, we met Peter Knego and he told us all about his career. What does a maritime historian do?
Well, a maritime historian can do all kinds of things. What I do is I go to the scrapyard when they're tearing the ships apart, the ones that I used to love so much, and I go and rescue the stuff. I buy it and tell them, oh, you know, that painting over there, I want 50 of these chairs. And then I have it shipped to California from India, where the scrapyard is, and I furnish my house with it. And then when I have extra things, I sell it on my website, Midship Century, where interior designers and people who love ocean liners can go and buy a piece of their favorite ship.
This time, Peter Knego showed us all his treasures and took us on an amazing tour of his house. I have a question. What ship is that?
That ship is the SS United States. It's the largest ocean liner built in America and the fastest ocean liner ever built. She could go 50 miles an hour. She was so fast. She won the Blue Riband, which was the speed record for crossing the Atlantic. And she still exists. She was built in 1952 and she's in Philadelphia right now. And they're hoping to be able to preserve her like the Queen Mary, like maybe bring her to New York Harbor and make her into a hotel. But she is the pride of the American merchant marine. That was the height of America's seagoing prowess when they built the United States. So very good question. And these two lights, they're from the SS United States. They were from the first class dining room. They lit up the dining tables on the ship.
Do you have any other items from that ship?
I do. Behind you over there, do you see the thing with the eagle? That's a champagne bucket or a flower vase, depending on what you want to use it for. And the crystal serving station in the middle there behind the 82 sign, which is from Queen Mary. So those things are from the United States. And I've got a lot of other things like curtains and silverware and all sorts of other smaller stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Now Peter Knego is going to take us on a tour of his house.
This is the dining room, since we're here. And you can see on the bottom of the chairs, see the rope there? Mm-hmm. When the seas were really rough, they would bolt that to the floor so people could dine and not slide across the dining room. And the tables have these little rims on them so that the trays and plates wouldn't go flying off in bad weather. But sometimes they did anyway. Yeah, that's a painting of New York Harbor that you would see from a ship sailing in. To the right would be the Brooklyn Bridge, and to the left would be the Hudson River where the passenger ship terminals were. That's a steering telegraph. That would be on the bridge. And that would tell the helmsman in the engine room where the rudder should be going. That's from an old Cunard liner that used to sail with the Queen Mary. And the Queen Mary has those in her bridge as well. That woodwork there, all of the marquetry in there, there's I think 22 different types of wood used in the marquetry in that paneling, which is on tiger maple woodwork. And so there were craftsmen at the shipyard that specialized just in that. Those light fixtures are Italian, and they're really beautiful. The crystal, the acid etched crystal, and then the brass inlays forming a pattern. That's a great painting of ancient Egyptian warriors from an Italian liner that used to sail to Egypt.
But what is that made out of?
It's called gesso, and it's sort of like a plaster almost because it's got a texture to it. An Italian artist named Maioli, who used to restore the cathedrals. The ceilings of the cathedrals had beautiful paintings on them, and he was the artist the Italians hired to fix them. So he was a very important artist.
Wow.
So yeah, let's take a walk and see some of the other stuff. You were asking about the United States. This chair is from the SS United States. These chairs are all from a ship. All the furniture in here. This big panel was on a German ocean liner that was in a movie called Juggernaut. You can see this panel in the movie and that light fixture as well. There was a summit in Malta called the Malta Summit in the late 1980s, and President Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev met on that ship, and they stood in front of this panel when they came aboard the ship. So it's got a lot of history to it.
What's your favorite item in your house?
You know, it kind of just depends on what day you ask me, but I can tell you some of my favorite things. This thing right here, I love this panel. This is by an artist named Luzzati, an Italian artist, and he did a lot of the panels in the house, all from different ships, by the way. And I love his work. His stuff is very reminiscent of Picasso, but it's got his own touch to it as well. So I love this. Here's a panel that I love as well. This panel, it's a wooden panel, 2 layers of wood. This is ebony, the dark wood on top, and underneath is a layer of mahogany. And this artist was so skilled, he carved into the mahogany so that you would have the color and offset the ebony. And it's just beautiful, his style. Look at the details he did.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, it really is cool. Let me show you these doors here. These are really cool. These are what kind of got me started. And look at the woodwork. This is West African hardwood, and this is from a ship that used to sail to West Africa from England. And if you look at the etched glass, like this is a moon with 4 stars, and it's a full moon, right? Well, after 2 weeks, when you get to West Africa, you no longer have a full moon, you have a crescent moon. And the actual ship is this ship here. She's called the Oriole. And when she was scrapped, that's what got me started in buying the stuff, because I know she was filled with beautiful woodwork and all kinds of paneling and stuff that just, I couldn't bear the idea of it getting destroyed. And that bar in the living room is from her as well. And that huge big bar came from the Oriole. That was her tourist class bar. So the stairs are from 2 ocean liners. This is from a British liner called the Empress of Canada that used to cross the Atlantic, and it was sold to Carnival cruises, and it became Carnival's very first ship, the Mardi Gras, and so it established Carnival cruises. So this is very important historically because that ship really led to the modern cruise industry. And then all the woodwork is from another ship called the Ivernia, and so I combined the nickel and brass with the woodwork from the Ivernia. So you can see the layered wood. This is this is all layers of wood glued together. And on the outside is a walnut, and on the inside is a sycamore. And so it gives you the 2 different colors. And it's really just, the craftsmanship, it's stunning. And again, you can't do this now because you can't have real wood on ships. So it's a lost art. This is another Luzzati panel, and it's hammered into thin layer of brass or brass-coated aluminum, and then it's filled in with plaster from behind and mounted on the panel. And these went in the stairs, and they all represent elements of Greek mythology because this ship was a Greek cruise ship. These are some of his ceramics. This is the 4 seasons. It's an abstract, but it represents winter, spring, summer, and fall. This is the Queen of the Gods, Hera, and this is the King of the Gods, Zeus, in Greek mythology. And these are all different characters from Greek mythology. And even the sink in this room is from a ship. This is an old waiter's serving station from an Italian ocean liner. Actually, this ship here, the Augustus. And so we were going to put a new sink in here, and our handyman's wife said, hey, why don't you use one of those things you've got sitting in the garage? And so he just drilled a couple holes in it, and so now it has a new function, and this is the bathroom sink. Well, it's pretty clever.
I think so.
This is a nice piece. That's from an Italian liner. That's an etched glass panel that used to be in the suite of this one ship that sailed to South America. So that would divide the bedroom from the living room on the ship. And you can see the beautiful craftsmanship that they used. And this was a ship that sailed to South Africa called the S.A. Val. And here is the library on board. So when she went to the scrapyard, I told them to please take out these cabinets, and I made them into my library. And in the library are literally 1 million photographs I've taken. This is my Atlantic fleet. These are all ships that sailed on the Atlantic, usually between New York and England or Germany or Italy or any of the other major countries in Europe. This is the Queen Mary here and the Queen Elizabeth. And this is the ship that the staircase came from. That's when she was called the Franconia. There's the QE2 star. The Titanic and Olympic are here.
Where's the Lusitania?
Very good question. This is the Lusitania or the Mauretania. They were very similar ships, almost twin sisters. So that would be the Lusitania. And then to compare with the Titanic, which sank, that's the Titanic.
Where did you get all these ships?
Well, I've been collecting them for a long, long time. And a friend of mine had a great collection, and he passed away and he left them to me. So I have his fleet mixed with my fleet, so they're all together.
What's your favorite ship?
Well, that's really hard to say, because if I look at, say, this ship here, the SS America, I could say that's my favorite ship, but then I look over here at the New Amsterdam, a Dutch ship, and I think that's my favorite ship. So, you know, it's really hard to say. It depends on what mood I'm in and what ship I'm looking at, pretty much. But I love almost every old ship.
Peter Knego showed us so many cool things from so many different cruise ships, but I heard he has some stuff from the most famous cruise ship of all time. I hear you have items from the real Love Boat.
I do. Good question. You see these ceiling tiles here? Those are all in the show lounge of the ship. And if you look closely on some of them, they're autographed. I had them signed by all of the key cast members of the show. Gavin MacLeod, who played the captain, is right over here. And the rest of the cast, Julie, played by Lauren Tews, she's over there, and Jill Whelan, who is the daughter, and the bartender, and the doctor, they're all up there on the ceiling. So that's one thing from the Love Boat. And then behind you, on our patio, the decking here is from the Love Boat. This is from the lobby of the Love Boat, this big settee. This is when you came down the staircase. This was at the base of the stairs. Those two chairs are from the Love Boat. And this sign, 18 times around the deck equals a mile, is also from the Love Boat. You can actually even see that on the show sometimes. This is the actual emergency steering station. So
Peter Knego took me outside of his house, and I learned how to steer the ship. Then he showed me how to do the speeds on the ships. But my dad accidentally pushed time lapse, so it's all fast. I'm so sorry, guys. I want to apologize to Peter Knego and all you guys who are watching this. It's so hard to get good help these days. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry, guys. My dad accidentally pushed time-lapse instead of real video. So I would like to say thank you to Peter Knego, a very special thank you. And he took a lot of time doing this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out his YouTube channel called Peter Knego's Midship Cinema. I wouldn't miss it if I were you guys. And I hope to see you next time on Sky Go Reporter with a new person telling us what their job is and you're learning. Bye, guys!